Prefecture, radioactivity level has risen, but the local governments are saying that this is not a level which will have an immediate impact on people's health. In Ibaraki Prefecture, in Kita Ibaraki, they have set out a measuring device, and shortly before 6 a.m., 5.57 microsieverts were recorded, which is 100 folds or so above the normal level, and this is equal to 1/10 of the radiation that people are exposed to when taking an X-ray. And Ibaraki Prefecture is saying that this will not have an immediate impact on people's health. And the Ibaraki Prefecture, as of 11 a.m. in Kita Ibaraki, Takagi, Hitachi, and Mito cities, the higher than average levels of radiations are being monitored. And also in Utsunomiya City, up until 10 a.m. for 1 hour, 1.318 microsieverts, which is approximately 30 folds that of the normal level, was recorded. And in Kanagawa, Yokosuka at 6 a.m., 8 folds higher than the average. In Kawasaki, as of 5 a.m., 7 folds higher than the average. And Chigasaki at 8 a.m., a slight increase than average was recorded. Also in Chiba at Ichihara City, as of 6 a.m., the radiation of double of the average was recorded, and at 10 a.m., approximately 3 folds of the average level was recorded. Also in Saitama City, as of 11 a.m., some 40 folds higher than average level was recorded. And also in Tokyo, iodized cesium has been monitored in small quantities, and each of the municipalities are saying that these levels are not something that will have an immediate impact on people's health. In Gunma Prefecture, there has not been any significant change in the radiation level.
On Newsline, more radiation was released from the quake-hit Fukushima No. 1 nuclear power plant on Tuesday. Prime Minister Naoto Kan told 130,000 people living between 20 and 30 kilometers from the plant to take shelter indoors.
We need now for everybody to move out of the 20-kilometer radius from the No. 1 plant. And in areas from 20 to 30 kilometers from the power plant, depending on what happens at the power plant, we would like to ask you to remain indoors, at home or in your offices.
Prime Minister Naoto Kan there. Now, Chief Cabinet Secretary Yukio Edano says the fire at the No. 4 reactor of the Fukushima No. 1 plant may have caused the increase in radioactivity around the plant. Edano said the No. 4 reactor was not operating when the quake struck, and that nuclear fuel does not ignite by itself. He said spent nuclear fuel stored inside the reactor probably got hot and generated hydrogen, which exploded. He said the No. 4 reactor is no longer contained by a building, and the fire must be put out to stop the release of radioactive materials. Another explosion was heard earlier on Tuesday at the No. 2 reactor at the Fukushima No. 1 nuclear power plant.
At Fukushima No. 1 nuclear power plant, No. 2 reactor, at 6:14 a.m., there was a blast heard near the suppression pool, and the pressure began to fall in the suppression pool. We are continuing the water injection into the pressure of vessels, but the operators who are not directly engaged in this operation are being ordered to be evacuated to safer locations.
The explosion was reported by both the plant operator and the Nuclear and Industrial Safety Agency. They say a sound of a blast was heard around the suppression pool, the equipment that coordinates the pressure in the reactor container. The operator says the valve to vent steam and reduce pressure inside the reactor had closed, and they were trying to open it when the explosion occurred. It says it cannot deny the possibility that the fuel rods are melting. The company has been battling to raise the water level in the container vessel to cool the fuel rods. The company said that half of the rods are still exposed. Chief Cabinet Secretary Edano has issued a radiation warning. He says a dangerous level of radioactivity was detected around the crippled reactors on Tuesday morning.
So now we are talking about levels that can impact human health. I would like all of you to embrace this information calmly. But these are readings taken near the area where we believe that the release of radioactive substances is happening. The further away you get from the power plant or reactor, the value should go down.
The readings were taken at 10:22 a.m. Japan time. Edano said 400 millisieverts of radiation was detected around the number 3 reactor. He says this level of radiation is harmful to human health. Experts say exposure to radiation levels of up to 100 millisieverts is not harmful to human health. 400 millisievert, the level announced by the Chief Cabinet Secretary, is 4 times that amount regarded as safe. Former Director of Radiation Effects Research Foundation, Shigenobu Nagata, says exposure to 400 millisieverts for more than 2 hours is equivalent to a dose of more than 1,000 millisieverts. This amount of radiation has immediate effects, causing people to feel sick and burns on the skin. The Chief Cabinet Secretary said 100 millisieverts was detected around the number 4 reactor, and a reading of 30 millisieverts was recorded between the number 2 and number 3 reactors. Earlier, NHK senior commentator Noriyuki Mizuno gave us his analysis of the level of radiation detected around the plant and the possible health effects.
Earlier, the Chief Cabinet Secretary has said that the monitored radioactive substance level is totally different from what we had been seeing. Yes, simultaneously in these 4 reactors we have seen these anomalies occurring, and I believe that this is an extremely serious situation that is unfolding here. Now, the unit is different. We have been talking about microsievert, but now it's millisievert, which is 1,000 folds larger than what we have been reporting. And around the number 3, it's about 400 millisieverts, and around the number 4, it's about 100 millisieverts. And this number, for example, in the case of male, if the man is exposed to 150 millisieverts, it says that it does not impact their genital organs and suffer infertility temporarily. And also, if people are exposed to 500 millisieverts, then temporarily we see that the lymphocytes and the leukocyte count go down. And therefore, this value, this level, is something which, if you're exposed to this amount of radiation for a certain period of time, it will have an impact on people's health. Now, I'd like to confirm when this amount was confirmed at 10:22 a.m. Around the number 3, it was 400 millisievert, and around the number 4, it was 100 sievert. And between number 2 and number 3, it was 30 millisieverts. So is there a possibility that this will spread? Well, yes, it's 400 at number 3, 100 at number 4, but they're adjacent to one another. And so I don't think that we should make a differentiation between number 3 and number 4. Between number 1 to number 4, we have this very serious situation. But there's a 400 millisievert level. Well, this is immediately close, very close to the reactor. And the further away you are, the more diluted the level becomes. So people within the 20-kilometer radius, because people have already evacuated within this range, I don't think that there is any problem. But those people within the radius of 20 to 30 kilometers, again, there is a possibility that the radioactive substances have spread to this range. And therefore, because people are advised to stay indoors, those of you who are outdoors are advised to immediately go indoors. Well, so there is the instructions of both evacuation and also people to remain indoors. And if they follow this advice, it will be sufficient. Yes. And also, those people who are already inside, they're safe. But if you want to go out, if you have been outdoors and you're going to return to your homes, then just for the sake of safety, please make sure, because there is a possibility that you might be exposed to radioactive substances, please try to brush away your clothes and whatever you had on you. Well, once again, are there any advice that you would like to give to the residents in this area, including those who have evacuated? Well, yes. Those people within the 20 to 30 kilometer radius, please stay indoors. And in that case, please try to seal yourself, insulate yourself from outside. Do not ventilate. Do not open the windows. And also, do not use the air conditioner. It might be cold, but do not use the air conditioner to heat the room. And if you had put up your laundry outdoors, please do not take them inside, because it could be that radioactive substances are on your laundry. And please do not put out your laundry if you're going to try to dry your laundry from here and after. So the point is that you should not be exposed to the outside atmosphere, correct?
Some very, very important advice there of staying indoors, washing off. Do not use your air conditioners if you're inside your home. Now, Japan's meteorological agency says the wind at the nuclear reactor in Fukushima is blowing westward. Weather officials say they measured wind with a speed of 11 kilometers per hour at 11:20 a.m. in U.S.C. City. That's 50 kilometers south of the nuclear plant. They say westward winds are blowing at a height of 1,000 meters in U.S.C., and they assume the wind at the nuclear plant is blowing in the same direction. A Tokyo University monitoring post 110 kilometers south of the nuclear power plant measured 5 microsieverts per hour for 10 minutes from 7:46 a.m. local time. That was about, more than 5 hours, or rather a half an hour after the explosion, that is. Experts say the usual radiation figure at the monitoring post is 0.05 microsieverts. They say the current radiation level is 3 microsieverts. They reported the radiation measurements to the government at 8:15 a.m. as required by law. The Tochigi Prefecture government says it measured 1.318 microsieverts at 10 a.m. in Utsunomiya City, 140 kilometers southwest of the nuclear power plant. It says that's more than 30 times the usual radiation level, but that it won't immediately affect human health. The Chiba Prefectural government says it measured 0.074 microsieverts at 6 a.m. in Ichihara City, 218 kilometers from the nuclear power plant. It says that's more than twice the usual radiation level. It says the level was back to normal at 9 a.m. The Tokyo Metropolitan Government says a monitoring post in central Tokyo has not detected any change in the radiation level in the air. Tokyo Electric Power Company says the Fukushima No. 2 plant had safely stopped all 4 of its reactors as of Tuesday. We are talking about the No. 2 plant now. The No. 2 plant is 11 kilometers from the troubled No. 1 plant, that is. There were problems with the reactor's cooling system after the devastating earthquake on Friday. After Tokyo Electric replaced the pump motors, the temperatures in the reactors had dropped below 100 degrees Celsius by Tuesday. Aftershocks continue from Friday's magnitude 9 earthquake that hit northeast Japan. The meteorological agency is warning of strong aftershocks that could also trigger more tsunamis. The agency says after 200 aftershocks measuring magnitude 5 or more have occurred since Friday. It warns that strong aftershocks are highly likely. It advises that a quake registering 6 on the Japanese seismic scale of 0 to 7 could hit, possibly generating another tsunami.